Greetings. It's your buddy, your pal, your friend, your teacher, your guide, ABW. And the problem with black women, I really just said that. I put that up there to try to get somebody's attention because it's funny how most people really don't dive into things, to content. Everybody sees titles, clickbait, thumbnails, and really don't understand or see what people are talking about. And that's funny to me. There is no problem with black women per se. There's no problem with black men per se. See, we make these sweeping generalizations of groups. But groups, we say groups because groups consist of people. The problem with people is their lack of self-accountability, self-awareness. And again, we make these sweeping generalizations. And the problem is with each person who makes up their group in society. You have black men who are expressing all these grievances about the black woman. They are loud and obnoxious, rebellious, downright mean, angry. They don't take care of themselves. They're hoes. You know, we know all the talking points. I don't have to beat them with a dead horse. Then on the flip side, you have black women who are talking about men. Black men are broke. Black men are hoes. Black men aren't great leaders. Black men are broke. Black men are hoes. Just to repeat that. Black men are too catty. Black men don't know how to be men. Black men aren't emotionally available, don't know how to handle them. All these things, right? And on an individual basis, which can make up a certain number of groups, that could be true. But it's like the old chicken versus the egg conversation. Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Who is going to be the one to step up? You as an individual. Are you going to be the one to say, okay, yes, I see that what I'm up against as far as the challenges, but am I going to be the one to buckle down and focus on what I need to do to be the person that I need to be so that I can attract? You have to believe in the law of attraction, not just as a woo-woo, esoteric, metaphysical type of concept. It's a real concept that you attract who you are, what is in harmony with your dominant behavior. So black men have their grievances, and so they act a certain way in response. They say, well, black women are like this, so why should I care? I'm gonna act a fool. Black women say the same thing. I see black men being like this, so I'm gonna be a hoe. I'm gonna be this. I'm gonna be that. Who's gonna take personal responsibility and say, no, it stops with me? That's the question. Who's going to take their own personal responsibility? And again, just for, and it's good conversation. It's interesting because obviously these types of videos, this type of content gets a lot of comments and engagement. And so for in the public arena, it's entertaining, it's something to talk about. But at the end of the day, when it gets, when it gets practical and real in your own life, you got to step away from the media, social media conversation and frenzy, and take your own self accountability. So, it starts with me. I know that there are men. If you're a woman, I know that there are. Now, see, let me step back. I, as a man, I'm a man, so I'm going to put the onus on men. I believe men in this day and age have been dropping the ball. We haven't been the men that we are supposed to be. And so that creates a society of women who you could say are all these things that we talked about, all these grievances. They're hoes, they're mean, they're angry, they're combative, rebellious, all these things. But and then of course women can say the same thing on the flip side. But me as a man, I'm a man, so I'm gonna put the onus on the men to be leaders, to be someone who is worthy to be submitted to, worthy of giving their of a woman to follow. And the fact of the matter is most men just aren't that I see. Now me personally, I don't have a dog in the fight. I got a woman. I'm married, happily married to a black woman, to a black queen who stays out the way. She's not a hoe. She not even barely. You can't even barely find her on social media. She's just, that's usually the perfect scenario that a man wants. And humbly speaking, thankfully, I have that. Beautiful queen, stays out the way, not into no bullshit, not showing herself for the world. She's into me and only me, to the point that it can be overwhelming at times, to the point that I have to step back and appreciate that, man, my woman is all about me and only me. Because you can take that for granted. You're like, okay, goddamn, like, you could take that for granted. But when I take a step back and look at the whole landscape of things, and I see men who are having to deal with promiscuous women who are combative and don't follow them, I just can't. I can't do nothing but be thankful. But again, as a man, you take the responsibility. Your personal responsibility, self accountability, and there's a thing called the reticular activating system in our mind. It's the same mechanism in our brain that when you get a new car of a certain model and you start seeing that same model everywhere, that same concept applies to how you believe, how you perceive and believe the world to be. So if all you're doing is consuming content about what is available out there in the dating world, if all you're saying to yourself, if all you're reading and looking at and viewing is black women aren't shit, guess what? It's going to continue to show up in your reticular activating system. You're going to continue to see nothing but black women who ain't shit, black women who are not worthy of being in a relationship and subsequently a wife. That's what you'll see. And that applies to everybody. Conversely, you can make that system work in your advantage. If you start to condition yourself and tell yourself that there are, because there are, and I can tell you, I meet them all the time. I don't have a dog in the fight out there. I just, matter of fact, in my personal life, I just hired a young lady who, everybody can show you something when you're first meeting them, but from looking at her social media, um, meeting her, talking to her, dealing with her so far in the last 3 weeks, she's a dope woman. She's a dope female, beautiful, everything. She's my new assistant in my business. Um, yeah, because I have a in real life. I'm in real life. I do things in real life. This internet world is just something fun that I do, and I'm trying to build a little platform. I really could care less. If this channel never blows up, that's cool with me. I just like sitting there talking to in this microphone, creating, and whoever engages. But in real life, I do things. So I have a home health care agency. Hired a new assistant, executive assistant. Yeah, black woman, beautiful, all checks all the boxes. Don't see her twerking on the internet. All the types of things that men have grievances about. She's single, and we had the opportunity to have just a casual, cool conversation talking about the state of affairs with men and women out here, and she just confirmed what I've said. Most dudes is just dropping the ball. Most of y'all dudes is just dropping the ball. You can call that simping if you want to. And, most dudes that say that use that term. I don't even use that term no more. Pimp C made up that term. Pimp C is the first person I ever heard use that term. I'm an old school nigga, so y'all niggas talking about simps and shit. Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Most of y'all is simps. Most of y'all don't even qualify to be in the game to be even called a simp or otherwise. I'm a real pimp. But anyway, yeah, she just confirmed what I've been observing, and that's why in real life, again, we got the internet world, and you got in real life. I have a group of young men that I mentor. That it's a small group, like 5 boys, and just to be a very hands-on, intimate type of deal, so that I can do my part in putting out into society at least a small group of young men who are set apart, who are different, who have, and all 5 of these guys in my particular group, they have their fathers, but and there's nothing wrong with their father, good men, but I came up in a time when we had community, a village. My father was in my life, is in my life, a great influence, and he appreciates, and I appreciate the fact that he, with his help, and then with just the law of attraction, whatever you want to call it, through just living life, that over the years I've had other men counsel me, be mentor, and to help me along the way. And because there's certain things that your own father can't provide. There's what I will say about black men nowadays that I've seen more than ever, black men stepping up and being fathers. That narrative about black men not being fathers, I can't attest to that at all. Every black man I know that has kids is very much involved in their kids' lives. So I can't even attest to that stereotype at all. But it takes more than just your father. There's certain things your own father can't give you. Certain things, I have all daughters, but at certain points, I welcome the mentorship and the guidance of other men. I would welcome the guidance, the other mentorship of other men if I had sons and things like that. It's just it makes you a more well-rounded person. But I say all that to say that I'm trying to do my part to put out men into society that are worthy, that are good leaders, and that women would want to really step into their femininity, to serve and to be a part of their lives. because that's what it's all about. So I just wanted to say that, man. I don't want to beat a dead horse too much. It's fun to talk about this stuff, but it's a real thing, and the amount of animus and adversarial conversation going on is really not helpful. It's not helpful at all. I'm trying to change society for real in my own little bubble. Black women do seem angry online, and they have good reason to be. Black men do seem angry and bitter online. I could say they have good reason to be, I guess. But as a man, I just don't. I can't co-sign getting in your feelings. A man is a problem solver. A man is not a complainer. A man may notice issues and problems, and then he works to solve them. He works to overcome them. That's what a man does. So a lot of these men who are out here complaining about what they see as these challenges with black women, it's just silly to me. So it's your buddy, your pal, your friend, your teacher, your guide, ABW, signing out. Sayonara. Take care.